when we speak about the Army Air Corps, then Leo can tell you front and center. We have one person in here who was actually part of the Boca Raton Airport, Air Force Base. And that gentleman is here in blue. So Leo, and this goes way back. And Gene, where's Gene? Gene is here at 91. Where are you, Gene? I didn't see you stand.
Right here.
There he is. Okay, good. Thank you. Leo Gray, Colonel Gray, flew his last mission when the war was about to end in May of 1945. And he stayed with the Air Force for 41 years. And during this period, he went back to school and he received his Bachelor's of Science in the University of Massachusetts and went on a Master of Science from the University of Nebraska. That's my alma mater. So I'm not going to do any more flying for you. I'm an old fighter pilot. I know when it's time to sit down and turn over to Leo Gray. Leo?
Thanks for the long introduction. I might mention a couple more people that are here. Ms. Virginia Montalvo, who was president of the local Air Force Association, and her daughter, and Dick Rutledge. They're all members of our Miami chapter, the Tuskegee Airmen. And I know Kim just got engaged December 29th. She beat me by 2 days. My fiance, Diane, stand up. So you're about to see, I think it was a great movie. I was listening to Travis Smiley the other day, and he was interviewing Terrence Holland, and he was talking about how hard a time George Lucas had getting this movie. You know, I think he felt like a minority. He was having so much problem. He went to all of the movie studios and nobody would support him. So he decided to put this thing on with his own funds. And fortunately, his significant other, Melody Hobson, had some significant connections. She was a heavyweight by her own right. She incidentally was black. But she had connections with Oprah Winfrey and a few other folks like that that helped him out. And he was able to pull this thing off. Now, I mind you, I've heard a lot of criticism from some of the critics. I saw one thing, the critic gave it a rating of 34, and the audience gave it a rating of 81. So much for the critics. But some of the people complaining about it didn't talk about the before they went overseas or after they got back. It was 2 hours and 5 minutes as it is. Looked like you're ahead. This is an opportunity for 2 more movies, really. And but this is a Hollywood version of true stories. That I might comment one thing. That they talk about red tail pilots. You hear people talk about Tuskegee Airmen. Now, Dick Rutledge was one of the first Tuskegee Airmen in the country. He went to Chinook Field in 1941 when they first began training support personnel. And he ended up as a warrant officer out in the Pacific with somebody else. He deserted us. But anyhow, there were about 16,000 people who were classified as documented original Tuskegee Airmen. And 932 of those folks completed the Advanced Flying Training Program at Tuskegee. Another group, totaling up to about 996, received wings as liaison pilots flying spotter planes for field artillery and as basic flight instructors. But of the 932, 355 pilots went overseas. Those are what are referred to as the red tail pilots. So in essence, all red tail pilots are Tuskegee Airmen, but not all Tuskegee Airmen are red tail pilots. Now of the 355 that went over, 80 were killed overseas, 32 were prisoners of war, and 17 were evadees. That is, they went down, but they evaded capture. You don't hear much about them. They don't get the publicity. One of them I know was fighting with the Free French, and others had some harrowing experience. One of my classmates shot down plane that shot down his wingman who went overseas with me. And he was down by ground fire because they were on strafing missions. He bailed out. He was picked up by partisans in Yugoslavia, and they got him into an airplane, and he managed to get back to the base the same day. Well, by the time he got back to the base, the rest of the flights had completed their critique and gone back to the bivouac area. So he went and finished his critique, and then he went on back to the bivouac area. He was happy to get back. But when he got back to his tent, everybody was trying on his clothes. One thing I point out, in the movie, they show the 99 Fighter Squadron, which went to Africa. And then they show the 99 Fighter Squadron flying P-51s in Italy. Well, a little bit happened in between that to put this thing in a little historical perspective. This is a Hollywood version, and this is a Hollywood movie. Enjoy it as such. But when the 332nd went overseas, the 99th went in 43, the 332nd Fighter Group went over in 44. They flew P-39s initially, and they were flying mostly coastal patrol type activities. Then they were switched to P-47s. They became part of the 15th Air Force for about 3 weeks. Those things eat so much gas, they had to get out of the traffic pattern, you know. And so then they switched them to P-51s. After they got the P-51s, the 99th Fighter Squadron was assigned to the 332nd as the 4th Fighter Squadron. So don't let it bother you, the fact that a little bit of that history was overlooked in the movie. It's still a good movie, and the aeronautical scenes are going to blow your mind. I'm not going to try to out-talk the movie, so thank you.
There's one distinguished gentleman that I failed to introduce, Abe Weiland. Abe was a POW in World War II in Germany. Abe is a little difficulty getting up, but he'd like to be recognized.